Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us for our Wednesday weather update. We've got this big storm developing in the Southern Ocean and there is a lot to talk about. It's going to bring in severe weather to both Australia and New Zealand in the days ahead. Heavy rain, heavy snow, severe gales, thunderstorms and squalls, and some pretty dangerous beach and marine conditions as well. So it's a big system. So this is the current animated wind map for Wednesday. Keep in mind, this is going to be with us for at least a week. So this is the developing system. Now, there are airflows coming out of Antarctica, not just from around the ice shelf, but further south off the screen, all feeding into this, but it's got a very big journey to get up and around to New Zealand. So it's not going to be a cold setup to begin with. And in fact, for North Islanders, you've got a number of days of west to northwest winds coming in. It's going to be warmer than average, in fact, for overnight temperatures, because sometimes at this time of the year, we have frosts. Well, that's not looking so likely at the moment with all the windy weather coming in. So don't get too focused on the southern, blast side of it, because yes, there is this polar element to it, and certainly the South Island's got some snow and wintry conditions on the way, but not everybody has that set up. So let's get into it. Here is the rainfall forecast for New Zealand. This is the next 5 days ahead. The main area of focus, this bright white area going off the key. Now there could be 250 millimeters in places like Franz Josef over the next few days, but you go up into the mountains, could be talking 400 or 500 millimeters of rain. So that is a lot of rain over there. But on the eastern side, very little actually falling, although Canterbury will get about 40 millimeters or so further inland towards the hills and ranges. Very similar story in the North Island where the rain's on the western side. We're talking about 125, 150 millimeters in the bright blue areas. But then on the other side, the green and the blue you see just here, we're talking about a couple of showers or a few spits of rain, nothing too much. So the bulk of the rain certainly on the west coast, and the very eastern areas are the driest. So here we are for Thursday. You can see that westerly flow coming through, mild in the North Island with rain or showers. Over in Australia, you've got a colder southerly coming through around Tasmania and Victoria. As we go into Friday, that southerly gets stronger and more wintry on the Australian side, and the west to northwest winds in the South Island become colder. That does sometimes happen. We often think of a nor'wester as hot, but sometimes when it's a southerly up like this, that turns around at the last minute as a nor'wester. It's not a very warm nor'wester. So temperatures will start to drop, although it will be mostly dry in these eastern areas right up the country, but certainly a very windy day on Friday. Gale force winds will be certainly in some areas, and the air pressure down here 959. So we've got snow coming with that big southerly change injecting into that rain, turns heavy rain into heavy snow. So over here, the pink, the very bright areas, we're talking about 150 centimetres coming through there, 1.5 meters of snow possible on the mountain tops in here. But most people don't live there. So let's take a closer focus on where people live. And as you can see, Canterbury Plains looking mostly snow-free. You can see this pale blue. Now that gets into the low levels here. You might just have a couple of snow flurries that don't settle, or you might have a little bit that does settle. But either way, minimal amount all the way down into Southland as well. It's not until you get into the darker blues that you're getting up to 3, 4, 5, 10 centimetres of snow. So the pale blue right on the outer edges, don't expect much, maybe a few flurries. Dunedin right on the edge of it all, and parts of Southland, Invercargill all on the edge of maybe a snow flurry, but we're not looking at being able to build snowmen at this stage in those main centres. So I just wanted to give you that update. And also Fiordland, sea level snow is forecast there. So here we are on Saturday. What a big storm down here. Now it's got a number of low pressure zones. To the bottom towards Antarctica, there's a big strong easterly blowing along. Then it curves around as a southerly coming into Tasmania, very wintry and windy for you as you go through your Saturday. But in the North Island of New Zealand, yes, wet, maybe a few thunderstorms and squally showers on the west coast, might even be some hail in there as well. But eastern areas, not too bad. You got the sun coming out, it's going to be warm, as well for this time of the year. Now, very windy in Australia on Saturday afternoon. This is at 1 p.m. Seeing gusts here in the purple to 100 k's an hour and 80 kilometre an hour westerlies developing along the very eastern side. Not so much in Sydney, but maybe down more towards Canberra. As we go into Sunday, into the New Zealand area, there is that big wintry southerly over in Australia. The blue line showing that cold Southern Ocean airflow coming up, but we've still got nor'westers for much of the North Island, so heavy showers, heavy rain, and in these eastern areas, only a few spits of rain. It doesn't look like it's going to accumulate to much. Now, this low pressure zone here says 964. That's very low air pressure, being that close to New Zealand. So that means there's a bit of instability and things could still change. So we've got a pretty windy Sunday on the way. This is the Sunday afternoon. I have no idea why IBM picked 4:05 and not just 4 o'clock, but 4:05. This is where the big strong winds will be coming in as a nor'wester. You're talking severe gales in the usual areas, 120, 130k gusts possible in these brighter purple shaded areas, but it calms down as you head in towards places like Hastings and Napier. Now, Monday morning, this is the Predict Wind map, and we thank them for the animation. This shows Antarctica down here. Now look at the airflow as it comes up and around and then into the Southern Ocean, and then it gets caught up into this system. Here's the storm just off the coast of New Zealand. So it's dredging up a southerly, not just from the ice shelf, but from towards the South Pole. Now that's quite remarkable, but this journey where it sort of meanders does sort of warm it up a little bit, just a few degrees. So this is the setup for Monday. There is that storm, and here comes the wintry southerly now moving in. That's probably got another chance of snow flurries to very low levels as that comes through. And now the North Island's a little more exposed. You see that blue line going right up into the North Island. So now the desert road's got a chance of some snow flurries. And on Tuesday, could be more snow flurries on the desert road. There might be a road closure there potentially, just potentially. And in the South Island, the winds actually warm up a little bit. Westerlies back in again. So this is the polar stuff down here, and it's hugging the lower part of New Zealand, whereas the top portion of New Zealand, track the isobars, it's coming out of a system from Aussie. So over the next few days, the North Island's going to be stormy, but more like autumn, and the South Island's going to be a bit stormy, but more like winter. So I hope that all makes sense. Now, before I go, two places to recommend. Alert Info. Great website, alert.info, nice and easy to remember. They're already putting out all these alerts, not just weather, but road warnings and all that sort of stuff. So we highly recommend them. And also the Met Service warnings, which you can now find live on our website, weatherwatch.co.nz. And we've got a few things already up there for now. So there is a lot coming in over the next few days. Please do stay up to date with these warnings and all our latest information that you can find at weatherwatch.co.nz. We'll see you again tomorrow with our next update.